I took the sail off yesterday. Got it all rolled up, stuck inside the cabin. Figured I'd take one more ride today. It was not windy earlier, but it picked up coming out of the south. We're going to go around Seldens Creek, I think. Incoming tide drifted up a little bit. Nice, beautiful day. Got my wood pile covered. Got my dinghy hauled out. Got some geese, swans over here and cormorant. Let's see what happens. We're coming up upon the cliffs of Seldens. And I've done many paintings of this spot and did a couple of paintings from the cockpit this year. And it's just a beautiful spot. There's so much color and depth in those rocks. Apparently there's a tourmaline crystal vein that runs across from Deep River, about Deep River Landing, over to here, and continues, I think, through Avalon into Africa, wherever that ended up. And so this is a special rock. And for some reason, even though they had no trespassing signs on it for years, local people had felt it was their privilege to climb up here and jump off the rocks. So suddenly, last year, there's some signs on there that say U.S. government property, trespassing, climbing, or jumping from rocks prohibited. And something about surveillance and prosecution. And these signs are all over the place, and people still come here and jump off the rocks. And I have a theory that the people that own this property got tired of paying extraordinary amounts for insurance, maybe even were denied insurance, and just gave it to the government. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I would imagine, or they just made this up. But we're still sailing without a sail. I guess you call this stern power. So, there we go. We're still sailing. We just came out of the whole cliff area of Seldens Creek. And now we're getting ready for this slight jog to the north west. And I'm hoping that there won't be so much wind there and I can maybe put the anchor in, have some lunch, hang out for a minute, and maybe I'll just keep sailing through here. But the tide's meant to turn around 3:30, and I guess we're close to 2 now, so it's lunchtime, isn't it? I just dropped anchor, turned right around facing into the current and the wind. A nice little spot, protected. Have some sun for a while. It's probably the last day I'll be out. Tomorrow's supposed to rain. And then I think Friday they might haul me, or maybe Monday. Get the oil changed and I'm gonna do some winterizing. Such a beautiful spot. So quiet this time of year too. I feel like it could be in Alaska or Maine maybe. So this has been my water bottle for a year or two. It's when it was a wine bottle, it was a very nice bottle of Chateauneuf de Pop. Very nice bottle of red wine. And this is a nice little knife. And here's one of my favorite sandwiches. It is it's the rosemary and garlic sourdough bread you buy at Adams, and there's some kippered snack in there, which is a smoked herring. Comes in a little can, and it's a full fillet. And I put that on the bread, a little mustard, some sauerkraut, and I cut it in half to make 2 sandwiches, and this one crumbled, so it's kind of dry. But then there's probably about 3-day-old bag of Deep River Snacks sea salt, original sea salt kettle cooked potato chips from Simon's. And usually I don't finish it all at once, so they last a couple days. And here's a radish I bit into, and then I cleaned it up with a knife. And this radish came from Deep Hollow Farm. They had a bunch of radishes, and I thought, wow, these look really good. You know, I haven't had a radish in a while. Nice tail and everything. Like a rat tail. And then these are some, you know, we got jars and jars of stuff in the fridge. So I thought, well, there's only 3 left in here. I'll bring them out here and eat them. These are vermouth garlic stuffed onions. And they're pretty darn good, you know. It's just green olives, water, garlic, vermouth, salt, and vinegar. So I don't think there's much vermouth in there. I think I'd be fine. So that's my lunch. And you can't really beat the scenery and the guests. Sounds like a blue jay. Sometimes yeah, see, calling back and forth and back. Sometimes the kingfishers come squirreling through here. It's pretty quiet right now. All right, I'm gonna finish my lunch. Still sailing, sort of, you know, with a little south breeze, and they got the incoming tide. And we're heading down the last length before we hit the cove. And full Seldens twirl. Here comes a paddler in a kayak, working his butt off, going against the current. I'm just sitting here drifting. Still drifting north on the incoming tide and a south wind. I'm just looking kind of west now, so you get an idea of our velocity. Which I know it's not very fast, but it's motion. It's advancement. Using the power of the moon, really, for the drift. You have to watch out for these sycamore trees and other species, because they can get clipped by the mast and then drop branches all over the deck. It's quite alarming when that happens. Usually it's because I'm out of control. I'm heading into the bank and with a strong wind and current. But today I'm confident. I'll get ready to turn the motor on in a minute, maybe. Heading towards the cove up there beyond the mast. And there's this one dock on Seldens Creek right over there next to the other side of the mast, the starboard side. And up here in the hill is a house, beautiful stone and woodwork that owns that dock. We're heading into civilization again, and bring it back down to the marina. I think I'll dock a little bit further southwest sort of into the creek a little bit where the current's not so strong and the winds are diminished. This time of year we normally get north winds. The south wind was kind of a fluke, and it was only for an hour or two, 3. Yeah, I might start the motor up. I'm getting pretty close to this branch over here. But these sycamore trees have these cool shapes to them where they're very angular. And they have these little balls that hang off of their branches. These little seed pods, I guess, some kind of fruit. They're probably really good. I've never tried one. See, we just missed it. That's good. I don't have any lines up here. They're all taken down, wrapped around the pole, the mast. Look at these things. Aren't they cool? Yeah. There's the house a little bit more revealed. Some nice curves and architectural details that I admire. Big wolf oak out in front, 2 of them even. Yep. Getting the most out of this day, I think. Still drifting. Could get a little scary up there. I might have to turn the motor on. Keep it posted. Yeah, it looks like we might get a little too close to these guys up here, so I think I might get ready to start the motor up. You don't know why I don't like to do that too often, because it's so peaceful right now, you know, so quiet. Oh, look, maybe I'm gonna get out of it here. Huh. The wind shifted a little bit. It's coming more out of the southeast now, so that's going to change things a bit. But it looks like I'm kind of heading across the creek, away from this sycamore tree here that I'm concerned about. I know this is like really boring. But the suspense is probably killing you. Is he gonna make it? Looks like now I can start trying to straighten out a little bit. Let's move this rudder this way a little bit. There you go. Okay. We'll see if that's steering me around the El Sycamore trio. Yes, it is. So sycamore trees were used to store water. During droughts, you could still find gallons of water, fresh, clean drinking water, in the trunk of a sycamore tree. So kind of like capped like maple trees for syrup. I think they're related to the plane tree in Europe. The ones that line a lot of the streets in France, Paris and stuff. And they pollard them in the wintertime. They cut them right down to stumps. Well, short branches that will sprout, like these do, sprout little bush-like branches. And that's how they would keep them short and make them shade trees for the cafes and sidewalks and stuff. Oh, this is a nice little crop. Well, 3 of them in a row, reflecting in the water. From the same tree to begin with, I suppose. You can see how quickly, it's only 3:20 something, and it's almost dark down here. Now the wind is coming from the south again, and hopefully will push me right past this maple, which is looking pretty good. If I do start the motor, I'm going to have to don't know, put the phone in my mouth or something to keep going with videoing, but it would be interesting to see how I manage that. I need to get a GoPro, I think. So this is an experiment with a long video, okay? Bear with me, it might be worth it. Because to drift sail with no sail up Seldens Creek on November 20th is a real treat. And I think it'd be worth recording as much of this as I can. Now right here, for years there was a stump that you had to watch out for. And now it's just about covered by the extreme high tide. But it's straight ahead there in the middle of that point right there. And it's got like a little garden growing off of its head. And that's been replaced by this little stick in the mud right about there. Oh, there it is, I think, see it? Right there, bumped my finger. Who knows what that's connected to. You want to steer clear of that one, so you have this little bit of a channel in here to drift through safely. There's a sycamore tree again hanging over the creek up ahead. I've had a near miss with that one before. And then this maple hanging over the creek over here behind the stump is kind of another one to watch out for. Oftentimes there's an eagle up in the ash trees up here. He's got command of the creek over here and the cove on the other side, so you can lift off and catch a snack from either one. Now there's a pretty cool view straight up through here of a boathouse. You can see that green colored boathouse right there. And then above it is a house. And they've got a lot of guys working there. They were doing a lot of work all summer long. Recently it's been mostly masons working up on there's a terrace over on this side with some cool architectural buildings. Woodpeckers or something over there. And right now they're just herding leaves all over the place. You can hear them herding. They've limbed a bunch of those trees so that you can see through them. Before it was a thick forest wall and you couldn't really see inside there, but this, when you get closer you'll see the stonework that they've been doing. Pretty impressive. This little creek over here just turns into a little tiny drizzle of a creek in the low tide. I've never been up it. I'll have to go sometime when I have a dinghy attached to me, which I did all summer. This is somebody's private property over here. They have a little camp up there, a little campsite. Sometimes they have a dock over here with a little Boston whaler on it. Nothing right now. Straight ahead, we just rounded this corner using the tide and the wind without a sail. It's pretty impressive. 2 weeks ago I came through here with a sail. Maybe it was a week ago, I can't remember. And I got stuck straight ahead, right over there where the marsh hits the cove, because the wind blew and my sheet got jammed on a sail tie I had that was tying down some bit of sail from the reef. I think it was the second reef that day that got jammed up, and so it wouldn't into the block and it wouldn't release, and I couldn't get out of the way of the wind, and I got pushed up against the shore, not the shore, but it's some mud. I got beached there for a little while until as the tide was coming in, so I knew eventually I'd get off. A couple of jet skis came by and I took advantage of their wakes and motored myself right off. It looks like they've got something going on over here with some black plastic kind of fencing to keep some here. Keep things from floating down into the creek. So I wonder what they're doing over there. And there's a little green shed there I never noticed before, over on the right. Or maybe I did notice, but maybe they just repainted it right here above the fender. You might notice that I don't have my what do you call it? My tent, my bimini. Put that away too. Now are we stalling out? Did it just become high tide and now we have slack tide coming, which means that the current will probably start coming out soon? Or we're going to be able to round this corner. It says it's got about 10 feet deep here. And out there it gets to be more like 3 to 5, and even down as low as 2.5. So I'll have to kind of watch out where we're going. See if I can bank this corner, because we want to go around this way to get out to the river. If I hold this camera still, you'll see how we're dialing around a little bit. Just enough, huh? Back off a little bit so we don't get into the shallows too fast. But it is extremely high water. We're probably down to a quarter moon now. Heading towards the new moon again next week, I suppose, right? Yeah. So you see the stonework right there, that black truck. There's a little, almost like a well house or something right behind that guy that just took off his jacket. If you can see that. And behind that is a wall with, seems like a staircase or something going up. I think there's probably a swimming pool up there, and then there's another terrace, another couple more terraces, and then up towards the house where the chimney is. That flashing is, the copper flashing is gleaming right now. Below that chimney, there's some other structures, stone structures. I don't know what they're building up there, but maybe it's a big trellisy garden kind of a thing. But gorgeous looking property, and a natural but European kind of taste. I like it. So it looks a little windier over there where the blue rippled water is. Those swans way off there. And you can hear the howl of the leaf blowers. All in the key of F sharp minor. And there's this little castle back in there. A lot of windows. We've got a great view, huh? I've never been up that little creek either. It's trying to get out here with the canoe or the rowboat. Poke around. Well, we're almost rounding Cape Horn here. in 13 minutes if you're still watching. This is epic. This is going to have to be a YouTube video. Well, I think I'm going to start motoring because the sun's getting lower and I still got to get down to the marina. So here's how that sounds, okay? Okay, not too bad. It's a pretty quiet motor for a motor, you know? Yanmar, 18 horsepower. GM2. Which I think means it has 2 cylinders. And the key of G minor. Oh, there's a nice shot of this place over here. And the light gleaming. You can see all the work they've been doing. Oh, sorry. That's coast a little bit. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Let's see if I have to pull up my centerboard a little bit here. And there's that little, like a pergola thing right there, like a little well top. So this is called the Cove out here, Seldens Cove. There are a few houses out here, Seldens Neck Road. This land here on the right used to connect to the land on the left, which is now called Seldens Island, but was called Seldens Neck before water broke through. I don't know if it was dug out or if it was a natural thing over here underneath the sun. And this was all covered in what's that invasive plant called? The hydrilla. And this past summer, they put some kind of experimental herbicide on it, and it worked. It got rid of it, and apparently it had no side effects. So that's really great that that worked. So hopefully they can do it elsewhere, because that stuff is just taken over. It seems to be gone. Usually it is kind of gone by now anyway, because it kind of dies off in the winter, and it all just picks up and floats away. And once it hits salt water, it vanishes. It doesn't spread in salt water. It dies. All a no wake zone, and I'm barely making any wake at all. This is, I think, acceptable. There's a bunch of Russian olive over here. Looks pretty well picked clean by the birds. These little red berries on them in the fall that are edible. You can actually eat them. So Lots of critters go after them. I don't see any on there right now, so they must be gone. They still have their leaves. I'm pretty sure the leaves all fall off in the winter. Yeah. And these cedars, nice, beautiful cedar trees. I love cedar trees. They're just so elegant and strong. This is a camp they call the Cedars. And here we are heading through a patch of backlit Phragmites, looking right out to the river over to Chester Point Marina. You see the hills are getting smoky looking, not from smoke, but from humidity coming in. Supposed to get some rain tomorrow. So that's why I tried to get a lot of things done today. And get out here and enjoy, have a picnic on the boat for the last hurrah. That's one of my favorite little root piles standing up there. It's gorgeous. Okay, now we're back. This is where it gets really shallow. At low tide, it's almost impossible to get through here, but I've done it. And that's why I went into have my centerboard up a bit more. Still 7, probably 8 feet water right here, right now. There's a new stump out here that you gotta kind of go around. 9.5 feet, 10 feet, yep, right now. 11 feet, 13.5 feet, 14 feet, 15 feet. There's the Chester Ferry going back and forth up there by the George Castle. Still 15, 14 feet. So probably won't get any readings less than 6 feet. 11.5. 11. 10. I guess I should show 9. 8. 8. 7. 7. 6. 6. 2. 6. 1. 7. 5. 8. 4. 7. 3. 6. 5. 5. 9. 5. 3. 5. 4. 4.7 at high tide. 4.8. We're back in. 5. There's a cruiser over there. Alright, so now straight ahead is a log in the water. I'm going to try this. The tree. And the Chester Creek comes out straight ahead over there by the Marker 37 restaurant. This here is Marker 37. So anyway, that's where Hayes Haven Marina is over to the right. You can see the boats in the background behind these houses over here. That's Chester Point Marina. I don't know who these people are, but you have to wave. Hello. Yeah, that's like a log over here, huh? We're going to go down past Chester Creek, Chester Marina, and take the, well, maybe we don't want to take the shady side, but I think it's time just to get down there. Go by Deep River Marina, Deep River Landing, and the Deep River Marina, so farther. Oh, see these wakes? Wow, all over the place. It's from that little boat. Well, it's kind of a big little boat. Alright, thank you very much. So that's Gillette Castle way up there in front of that boat. That's part of the whole Selden Neck Road area. That's Seldens Island over there. We just circumnavigated, well, we'll almost circumnavigated so far. And down there is the green marker by the bottom of Seldens Island, and that's Deep River Marina, straight up there. And there's the barge, and there's Mount St. John's School for boys way up there, and there's the sun setting behind the mast, and now we're surfing the wakes on this side. Like a gimbal going it straight here. So I gotta put my centerboard back down. Right there. Yeah, well, that's likely to rock so much. Alright, that table was making a racket. Some swans straight at us. There they go, veering off. That's Vera and Oof. Yep. Yeah, this thing goes pretty well, you know, trips along up 5-6 knots. We got that south wind again out here in the open river. Getting a little chilly. I think I'll hang up for a while. Alright, so I'm coming into Deep River Marina here. I'm going to go out of these dots over there this way. It's a little shorter than when I was in last time. A little more protected, I think, from everybody. H dot there. Just came down from that way up there, and by the gazebo and everything. I should probably need some film there, but I was watching out for moorings, cormorants. I think we'll just take this one here that says H. Or maybe the one just south of that, yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm gonna have to hang up and drive. Just about sunset now, and I successfully tied up here at H1. And this is probably where I'll be transported from here to go over where that crane is over there and get lifted out in the next couple days.